Then let's go ahead and get the meeting started.
Okay.
All right. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting of May 7th, 2024. It is 1:02 p.m. Sorry, I was gabbing and we ran a little over into start time. We are live on a digital platform here. Present from Williamsport City Council, we have Randy Allison, Eric Biter, and Bonnie Katz, as well as myself, Liz Mealy. From the administration, we have Cynthia Hart, Jamie Livermore, Chris Black, of course, from the IT department, Derek Slaughter from the mayor's office, and let me just see here, and Janice Frank from the city clerk's office. I also see a guest, Maggie Corcoran, and I'm not absolutely certain.
That's a solicitor list.
Solicitor. Oh my goodness, Maggie, I am sorry.
No, that's okay. I knew it was a new face. So
yeah, you were a new face, and it just didn't quite ring through for me. I apologize. All right. Well, we only have a couple of items on today's agenda, 3 to be precise. Derek, would you like to kick it off with the resolution about Gary Brown Jr. Way?
Sure. Good afternoon, Chairwoman Mealy and members of the Finance Committee. What you have before you is an ordinance designating Gary Brown Jr. Way. For most of his life, he grew up on Cummings Street. So this would be between Walnut and Elmira on Cummings Street. Most of us are probably familiar with his playing days on the football field. Was a standout at Williamsport High School, went on to Penn State, and then had a long career in the NFL. New York Giants, San Diego Chargers, Houston Oilers. And then after his playing days, coached at Williamsport High School, Cumming College, Susquehanna University, I believe, Rutgers, Wisconsin, and then did coach in the NFL as well, probably most notably for the Dallas Cowboys, but gave a large portion of his time back to the community as much as he could with demands on his playing career and also his coaching career. And unfortunately, his life was cut short due to cancer, and so he passed away a little over a year ago, I believe it was at this point. And so, given his contributions to the community both during his playing days and afterwards in a coaching capacity, a number of kids that lives he's impacted, we felt it was appropriate there on Cumming Street, where his childhood home was, to do this recognition. He is survived by his wife Kim and their 3 children, his brothers Kevin and Ryan Brown, who are in Williamsport as well. And his son, his youngest, is graduating from Williamsport High School this year, actually, in June. So they grew up most of their lives in Texas. Of course, he was the Cowboys coach, but his younger son finished out his time here at Williamsport. I think that's probably most on my end. I'll turn it back over to you, Councilwoman Mealy.
Thanks, Derek. Well, yeah, I was kind of excited to see this one because I'd forgotten until it came up on the council agenda, but I grew up on West Edwin Street, about 2 blocks from where Gary Brown grew up, and my parents used to tell me all the time that was where he lived. So it was kind of a little trip down memory lane, but that certainly seems appropriate, and I'm excited to see that happen. I'm assuming the cost of the city is relatively minimal, right? And the street will remain like Cummings Street while also being kind of co-designated, so it won't impact 911.
That's correct. Yep, it'll stay like Cumming Street. We'll do the sign in house, just the little signs like we've done for Marlene Welly or others, and we'll probably do a little ceremony. I think they're looking at Saturday, June 8th. I'll confirm with everyone right after, because they'll be in town for their son's college graduation. So
okay, well, terrific. Randy, Eric, do you have any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I think it's a great honor. It's well deserved. I watched a lot of millionaire football over the years since I was a youngster. So I'm going back to the late 50s even. And, at least for me, he was the best running back that I saw. So it's a well-deserved honor, I think.
I would agree with all of that.
Excellent. Okay, well, if I hear no other comments, then we can move on to item number 2 on the agenda. Everybody all right with that?
Yes.
Okay, and that would be, why Maggie's here, an agreement for legal services with the Assistant City Solicitor. This is, I suppose, being presented by all members of council. Adam couldn't make it today because he had a class. I just suddenly was about to pass it over to someone and realized there was no one to pass it over to. So this is, as we all know, Norm Lubin of Casale and Bonner, who acted as the city's primary solicitor and then assistant solicitor for quite a long time, retired at the end of this past year. And so that sort of lit a fire under our search for a new, we knew, of course, that would be coming, but that made us engage pretty quickly in the RFP process for a new assistant city solicitor. And we received a handful of responses, and then and chose, pardon me, I apologize, Koploff, Reidenhauser with Margaret V. Corcoran as our and that would be Maggie Hugh, who I did not recognize, I apologize, as our new assistant city solicitor. Those of us on city council have had a number of discussions over the last couple of months around this issue. And so this doesn't necessarily require a lot of further discussion as far as I'm concerned, but Randy, Bonnie, Eric, does anybody have any commentary to make on this item?
Is it okay if
I
I
have none.
speak?
Absolutely, Bonnie, if you'd like to. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled that we have a woman solicitor coming to the table after all these years. Can't wait to meet you in person. One of the things, looking at the contract, from what I understand and what I'm hearing, is Austin is going to take care of the council meetings. And so Maggie would understand that, there's some things in the contract for the services that she will not be responsible for a while, from what I understand. And I wanted to clarify that, okay? That it says here, attend regularly scheduled and special city council meetings, executive sessions, and city council work sessions. Maggie, we don't have that many, to be truthful with you. And I think we want to clarify this with Austin if he's taking care of the council meetings.
I think there's been some discussion about that already, Bonnie. And I want to say that perhaps the discussion may have centered around the idea of alternating.
I think that would be a good idea.
But I'm not quite sure. It was my suggestion. All of this is still kind of in flux, but it was my further suggestion, given that that this firm has its offices in Lock Haven, that we consider, a remote option for a solicitor. It seems it would be a big chunk of your evening to drive down to Williamsport and back to Lock Haven for an hour-long meeting, something like that. But that, all of those items I think are still somewhat in discussion. What we do know, this contract is quite similar to the one, to the contract that we had in place with Casale Bonner and Norm Lubin specifically. And, I think some of the details, currently it says as requested on the city council, regularly scheduled and special city council meetings. And I think that, we will figure out what that request might be. But I'm assuming, Ms. Corcoran, that you're willing to be at meetings as necessary, correct?
Yes. And speaking with Janice Frank, she kind of filled me in on the city's needs. And it was my understanding that at first I likely would not be running the city council meetings, but eventually easing my way into it as I get more adjusted in the role. So, whether we take an alternating schedule every other meeting, I'm willing to work kind of the details out as we go along.
I'm really excited. I'm excited about having, we miss Norm. Norm was a wonderful man. He really was. The history behind Norm, it was incredible. But I think, we've talked about this many times over the years that most of the attorneys, there's conflict sometimes when something comes up. And I think you would be out of the realm of conflict with some situations, not being in the city. So I think that's why I'm excited about this also, because we have talked about that a long time. So are you going to be at Thursday's meeting?
I am.
Fantastic. We get to meet face to face then.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet everyone, and I'm definitely an outside perspective. I just moved to this area in the fall, and I grew up in Philadelphia, right outside, and went to school there. So I've visited Williamsport, and I think it's a lovely city, so I'm excited to get more involved.
I'm from Philadelphia. I lived in the Northeast by the airport.
Oh, okay. My dad is from South Philly. I lived right at Broad and Spring Garden.
Oh my gosh.
I went to Temple, so
my son graduated from Temple. Yeah.
oh yeah, I loved it. It's an adjustment living in Philly, but I've liked it's quieter here, which I enjoy. Still not too far. I can still visit when I want.
Well, I say the gridlock here is like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's when there is gridlock.
Exactly.
Right. I think the worst gridlock I've encountered in the whole city is at Confusion Corner, which we should talk about sometime.
Exactly.
It's iconic.
I know. At this point, that gridlock is just enshrined in the city's constitution, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
When my son comes home from Philly, he goes to Confusion Corner. He's yelling. He said, "How could you people put up with this all the time?" I said, "Come with the territory. We love it."
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Maggie, you'll pardon me. Sometimes these Zoom meetings get my manners out of whack to the extent that I've ever had any. I should perhaps have asked you first for a little bit of an introduction to you. I'm assuming that various members of the firm would be able to respond to our needs depending on the needs, but that you, as our primary contact, you'll be handling most of the city's inquiries.
Yes.
Okay, and you've been practicing law not too long then, or what is your
About
history in the
4
legal profession?
So about 4 years, I went to Temple Beasley School of Law. I graduated in 2020. So we started practicing a little bit late. It's not easy to take a bar exam in the height of a pandemic. So I started practicing October 2020. I worked in insurance law in Philadelphia. And then I moved to a smaller firm outside of the city. I did elder law, estate planning mostly. And then I moved out to this area, and now being at Koploff, Ryan and Hauser, we dabble in a little bit of everything, but municipal work is really kind of the heart of the firm, with our firm representing Clinton County as solicitor and then also Lock Haven. So I will be the main contact, but I also will work closely with Justin Hauser, who's currently serving as solicitor for Clinton County, with any questions that I have. So I think between the two of us, we'll be able to cover all of the needs of the city.
Excellent. Well, that's exciting. And yeah, as Bonnie mentioned, we have our primary city solicitor is McCormick Law Firm, and they represent basically a who's who of every entity in the city. So one of the issues we've had with only having legal representation from within the city of Williamsport is that every once in a while, we actually don't have a firm that is already representing the other entity in an issue. So we'll bear in mind that Clinton County and Lock Haven are out for you guys, but hopefully that will work for McCormick, and that'll mean that we're covered on all fronts, because that is that's sort of and in fact one of the reasons the city retains 2 city solicitors is if there should ever be a conflict between various branches of city government or something like that, so that we have representation in those cases. But Anyway, well, that's exciting. And I think that we can probably mutually benefit one another, both as you work your way into municipal law and then, as we grow and learn as a city as well. And we're excited to have you here from Philadelphia, but yes, it's a change of pace. It's good. We've a lot of my friends out of high school moved to Philadelphia, so I'm glad that we've gotten one back. One person back out. Including Randy's daughter too, huh?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Philly. But
I'll try to bring back more people as time goes on.
yeah. If you can lure some other people back, But anyway, Randy and Eric, what questions do you have for Ms. Corcoran?
Go ahead, Eric.
I have no questions at this point. I appreciate you putting forth or answering the RFP, if you will, and then being the one that's here. It's going to be nice to have somebody from the outside. And all that Liz said, it is very difficult in this particular area. It's a large area, but it's a small town. So
Yes, something which you are already learning, Maggie, and will probably learn even better in the months to come. Randy?
Yeah, I'll just echo everything else. I'm happy we found a good firm. This far enough away from us to be objective and give us good counsel, and that's what it's all about. So welcome aboard, Maggie. We'll make it official Thursday night and look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it too.
Yeah. Okay, so Maggie, because we are currently meeting remotely, we don't take votes at our remote meetings. Also part of the reason, I mean, Bonnie would have been welcome to weigh in one way or the other, but I don't tend to regard these as exactly official committee meetings for the moment. So I think you can gauge that all of us feel positively towards your contract, but we'll see you on Thursday for the official matter. And, all right. Thank you very much for attending. And this is a very slow week this week for City Council. So I will note that the third item on our agenda is any related items. Does anyone still in attendance have anything else to introduce? Jamie and Cynthia, I'm not sure if you were just here for informational purposes or if either of you has anything to say. Sounds like.
Crickets.
Okay. I think we're good. All right. Then I believe we'll be adjourning. Thanks a lot for attending, everybody, and I'll see y'all on Thursday.
Take care.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you guys too. Bye-bye.